All right, hello everyone. Today I'm doing a reconstruction of my 155 world record average, and yeah, let's get into it. Hopefully, this is a bit easier to follow than my last one since has a bit better camera setup and it's a little bit more planned out. So, this first scramble, I saw these two locks, so kind of easy to decide to do red. But for some reason, I thought this center was twisted the other way from how it was. Then I one looked and planned on doing this and then doing this case. And then I kind of started to set down the cube, suddenly realized it wasn't going to work, and then picked it up and re-one looked. And so the way that I did it was, there are a few ways of kind of doing this because you can solve this. You have to solve this center, but you can do like an L prime or an L to get this out of the way. And I chose L prime because it means that this edge gets paired up here and it becomes a layer. And then when I one looked, I can see that when you do that, it gives you this, which you can cancel into. So it ended up being a super easy solution of this. And I locked up so that you can see I'm quite annoyed with it because I thought I would easily break my NR single of 115 on it, but you know, wasn't meant to be. And if that had happened, it might have thrown me off a little bit. Okay, so this second scramble is obviously really good. You have a 2-move V. And for some reason, I either didn't see it or decided not to do it. And instead, I looked at this, which is a 3-move V on red, R, U prime, L prime. And somehow, based on what I saw, I got it in my head that the case was going to be this. I guess I'm just going to put that down to nerves. That's not a mistake I would ever make. And it just makes no sense that this even happened. So I did that. And then I was left with this. So I just solved it like that. Then third solve. So that was like a 2.8, 282, to be more precise. This one, you can see you have a few good options, and you can really do well on any color basically. But I think the first thing I was thinking about was yellow, because you can do R prime UR here to get this 3 cycle, or you can do an L first and then do this, and then kind of go really nicely into that. You can cancel if you want. But what I ended up going with was here on red, you can do 3 moves to hedge like this. And I was kind of tossing up between doing ML free, so doing either this or doing this. And I lost it. Okay. But I decided in the end to just kind of do it from the front. And here, you can have 2 ways of solving in 6 moves. You can either do U hedge U, or this alg. BUR. Actually, I'm just going to do the scramble again. So what I decided to do was the kind of AUF skipping one. And with a solution like this, I was kind of thinking that it could be a really, really good time. But since I had a 1.2 and a 2.8, I was very, very nervous. And the strategy I decided to go with was just kind of turning fluidity and staying in control of the cube. So I did my tips, did that, and then I went into this. And then a side note is that you're probably wondering why I didn't do R prime U, R prime, and cancel. And the reason is something I've started doing in the past 6 months or something. Is really, I find a lot of these R and L move cancels from Vs that give you weird regrips to actually be slower than just doing both moves, because it's so much easier to do. And so that was a 149, which could have been better, but I was obviously happy with the times I had. And then solve 4. Doesn't seem like an amazing scramble to start with, but what I ended up seeing pretty quickly, to be honest, is this edge here, because the V that had all solved centers was green, and you had this pattern. And so when you have an edge like this, you can often do a sledge or some sort of pseudo thing. And in this case, it was the only edge in there. And that usually means you can do a pretty nice trigger style V. And so I looked at the other edges to see if I could kick it out of its place while solving them. And in this case, it was in the yellow position. And with the yellow edge here, you can solve the V in 4 moves like this, which happens to cancel very nicely into ML free with no AUF. So my solution is this. So that was quite lucky, I guess. But again, I took a similar approach to the previous solve and didn't rush myself, just went through and ended up executing very smoothly and getting a 134. So on this last solve, I was insanely nervous because I knew that not only did I have like a very, very good chance at world record, I had like a 1.3 best possible average, and I had this 2 hanging from a few solves ago that I'd managed to not count yet. So all of that was going through my mind when I saw this scramble. And obviously when you are on the last solve of a potential world record, you hope for an easy scramble because it's sort of hard to inspect for me usually under the pressure. But on this, near the beginning, I saw this form of V. You can do L prime to connect this center to this edge, and then that just leaves you with the U move to connect this edge to this spot, and then you can just do R prime, L prime to solve the V, but that leaves you with a 4 flip. So I was hoping to not have to do that, since it would be pretty difficult to not screw that up under this kind of pressure. And so I looked at some like really weird stuff, like I think I one-locked a V on this. Yeah, like you get Polish flip and you go like, but that seemed like quite difficult to do and like really inefficient. And I think maybe there was like one other side where I was looking and thinking about some crazy wild edge stuff that was going to be wildly inefficient. And I think around the like 8 to 10 second mark, I just accepted I was going to have to do the 4 flip solution. And so I got myself mentally prepared, did the tip, L prime U, R prime, L prime, and then didn't do the fastest 4 flip I've ever done, but like I really went for it to an extent that I knew I could. Well, it was probably a bit faster than doing it safely, obviously, but yeah, you can see my hands shaking a lot when I'm like starting the timer and stuff. So overall, I'm super, super happy with this solve. In terms of the TPS and the average, I feel like the first 3 were like kind of subpar. They were like 6, 7, and 7, but the last 2 solves were terror speed, which is really good to see. So overall, I'm like extremely, extremely happy with this average. I'm super happy to have world record again. I think I said in my last reconstruction, hopefully this isn't my last WR. And I was saying that kind of expecting I was going to break my own record a couple of times, and that obviously never happened. So yeah, good to have a second WR for the books. And yeah, if you're wondering whether I'm disappointed about the 1.3 BPA sort of going to waste, I'm not, because I did my best considering the situation. And yeah, anyway, that's the rant over. Hopefully you enjoyed this video.